Okay, let's get started. Thank you for joining today. Hello, my name is Jennifer Bento-Pinion. I'm here at MEFA on the college planning team as a director of MEFA Pathway. And today we're going to highlight the college compare tool and how students can use this effectively in building a list of colleges that they'll apply to based on their preferences and criteria that's important to them. So just a couple of housekeeping items before we get started. This session is being recorded, and I will follow up with an email, which will include a link to the recording, and then you'll also have my contact information for any follow-up questions. All right, so let's get started. So as an extension of all of the great, amazing resources that MEFA has to offer, MEFA Pathway is a cost-free, comprehensive college and career planning platform that's available for students and grades 6 through 12. So any student in grades 6 through 12 can create an account to have access to MEFA Pathway. So let's, I'm just going to show you quick. So we're on the main landing page here. We're on mefapathway.org. And your student would go to this main page and then click I am a student. The registration process is really easy. They would come in as a first-time user and register their account. So very basic information. They would select the city or town that they live in. They would select the school that they attend. All of our schools are in the database. And then they would create a username, create a password, again, basic things. They do have to have a working email address in order to create an account. So if the student forgets or needs to reset their password, they can do so by either their email address, or they also create 2 security questions during that registration process. So very simple to create that account. So I would encourage all of your students to do so, because then they would have access to the platform here. And again, today we're just going to focus on the college compare tool, but there are so many different activities and features within the site here. So when your student logs in, they will be brought to their dashboard. So as you can see here, the dashboard shows the grade level that the student is in, and then based upon their grade level are suggested activities here that the student, as you can see, my test account here is Alice, and she's a grade 12 student. So these are all these suggested activities right on that dashboard. So I will point out too, this video series. So we did a great video series. It's a couple years old now, but it's still completely relevant. It's called Journey to College, where we interviewed students and talking about their journey to college, what made them want to apply to college, and then that process. So they're little snippets, and it's great for students to hear from their peers and talking about what made them want to apply to college and some of the challenges and the factors that went into making that, making their final decision. So something to point out to the students. Okay, so we're going to jump over to the Search Colleges feature here. So we're going to click on Search Colleges. And as you can see, underneath this main tab are a number of sub-tabs. So the college search is where the student will start. So here is where, and I'm not going to go through this feature, but I'm just going to point it out that the student starts to look for colleges. They can base their search on the different pieces of criteria on the left-hand side here. There are just under 4,000 2- and 4-year schools and programs within the database. And that is updated yearly, so it's current. And then once a student starts, maybe they start this career search piece in grades 9 or 10, they start building out that college list. So they just start piling colleges on that college list that they may be interested in. And then once they get to the 11th grade, especially towards the end of 11th grade, they're really starting to hone in on colleges that they would actually like to apply to. So this is where the college compare tool comes into play. So I just clicked on college compare. So this feature is wonderful because the students can select up to 5 colleges at a time, and then they can save as many comparisons as they like. And I'll show you how this works. So step one is where they choose their college. So they select that college. They can either select it from their college list. So as I mentioned, the student I have 20 colleges on my list, Alice does. And so the student can either select from their college list, or they can browse the college, or they can search by college name. They can also, I'll point out, we have a feature within the site here. It's the mass transfer benefits. So it focuses on students starting at a community college and then transferring to a 4-year university or college, and then they can save those searches. And so they can also apply one of their saved mass transfer benefits to this comparison as well. So I'm going to select from my college list. So I'm going to select, let's see, I'm going to select Salem State. So you just click add. I'm going to select Salem State, Assumption, University of New Hampshire, UMass Boston. Let's add that one. And then, so I added 4. And then I also am going to take one from my mass transfer benefits list. So once we've added just up to 5, as you can see, these are the colleges that I selected. And step 2 is the criteria that you want to keep, that you would like to view. I always keep all of these checked off just because I want to see all of them side by side. And then the student can also set preferences if they like. So if they'd like to set their preferences, they just click on this little set edit preferences, and they can select the preferences that they would like to apply to that chart. Okay, so I'm going to not use preferences here. And then I am going to save my comparison. So I'm going to name my comparison. So let's see, I always just use a date. So let's see, it's March 23rd rather. And now I'm going to save. So again, students can save as many comparison charts as they like. So I save it, and now I would like to show that. So as you can see, here are the mass transfer benefits is in purple, and then the 4 colleges that I selected for that comparison. Now, as we go down, you'll see key factors. So type of school, the setting, the size, the location, admissions get difficulty. And the student can, again, start looking at how they fit into these different pieces and how they're starting to build out that list of schools that they're going to apply to. So maybe they want to get a well-rounded list of schools that they're going to apply to. So, maybe they have one, they want to fit right into that, into the requirements of the school. So as you can see here, we have again, the schools going across the top, and then we have undergraduate information. So the student to faculty ratio, we have tuition and fees, that information, so in-state versus out-of-state. And then we also have, this is a new addition, but we have all of the schools that have been selected. You can access the school's net price calculator, right, by clicking this little click here. So the student would just click here, and it'd be brought to an external website of the school to access that net price calculator of that school. We can see, you can bring you back to that mass transfer benefits page if you want to get some more information. And then the academic information is at the bottom here. So the student can say, oh, well, I have a 3.4 GPA. So maybe, these schools I line up right in line with all of the schools here with a 3.4. And then finally, we have the test score data. So the student can then say, okay, well, I got this on my SAT or this on my ACT. How do I fit into the requirements of these particular colleges? So again, the student can save as many, they can remove colleges, they can save as many comparisons as they like. And so they can, again, build out that list from, based on that criteria, and then decide the schools that they would like to apply to. All right. So again, I'll encourage you all to have your students create an account in MEFA Pathway. It's a free resource that MEFA offers. Any student can register as a new user and use all the great tools within the platform. Again, we just focused on one tiny little piece of this expansive website. So I will be following up with an email to all of you. It will have a link to the recording of this session, and you'll have my contact information if you have any questions. Okay, thanks so much and have a great day.